Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a 4-3 victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates to open up a 3-game set. And it's a good day to be a Rangers fan. Every time you can get these wins, you absolutely, this season, I think at least, have to count yourself fortunate. We've seen a fair share of bad losses. It's been an up and down, mostly kind of down season at this point. But to be honest, we're just glad to be getting some wins. So for the Rangers to come out tonight, win back to back games for the first time since, I believe, the White Sox series, good for the Rangers and good for Rangers fans. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a little bit. But before we do so, y'all know here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Want to say a special thank you to everyone watching live, whether you're live, whether you're on the replay. Thank you for joining us. We know there's a lot of other Rangers content out there to peruse. Thank you for choosing Right on Rangers, joining us live after every game for outstanding post-game analysis and coverage of the game. And we will bring it all to you. The scoring, there wasn't a whole lot of it. It was pretty loud scoring, but not a whole lot of scoring in this one. It was very, very concentrated, really to one person in the Rangers lineup, and that man's name is Corey Seager. We're going to talk a lot of Siegs here in a little bit. We'll go through some of the key moments in the game, kind of go through our players of the game. I think there are a few that we could talk through beyond Siegs. I think he's going to take the cake, no doubt. I don't think there's even a question. But there are a couple of other bright spots I think are worth pointing out. So we're going to get to all that here in just a little bit. But it's good to get a win. It's just good to get a win, and a back-to-back win at that, for the first time since late July, the White Sox series. That's how far you got to go back for the Rangers back-to-back wins. So, hey, go Rangers. We are happy to be with you guys after a dub. There's many a night this last summer that we have gotten on after a ho-hum loss, disappointing loss, fill in whatever adjective you want. We enjoy every time we can come on here on the live post-game and talk through a win. Yes, sir. Go Corey Seager, indeed. Baseball Network, what's up? How you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Seager, that blast in, what was it, the first inning? The first one that he hit out, the solo shot, that was just a freaking no-doubter. I mean, that thing was about as high up as that Game 1 World Series home run. A little bit more to left center. That World Series bomb was a little more down the line, but that was a no-doubter. I think they measured it at about 450 feet, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that is just a majestic shot. Corey Seager reminding everybody the power that he has. And Siegs goes ahead and hits two tonight, 2 homers, a 3-run homer in the bottom of the third. And that was all the offense the Rangers would need in this one. They did get to that number 4 that has been so pivotal this year. The Rangers score 4 or more. Generally, good things happen. So Rangers get 4 RBI from Corey Seager. He hits now, I think he's up to number 28, hits number 27 and 28. I'm going to keep patting myself on the back. I mean, Corey Seager very well could go into some kind of slump here over the last month and a half. I highly doubt that's going to happen, but Corey Seager, over 29 and a half home runs at the beginning of the year. I told y'all it was the best lock in baseball prop betting this year. Corey Seager, over 29 and a half home runs. He now needs 2 to get to 30 to win that over. Feeling pretty good about that one. Corey Seager continuing to have a great season, a solid season for the Rangers. Corey Seager coming through when the Rangers needed it. Not a lot of other offense in this one beyond Marcus Semien also joining the party and getting a couple of knocks as well. But Seager on base 3 times tonight, raises his average up to 273 on the year. Corey Seager, the numbers in his last 7 and 15 games are not very Seager-esque, if I do say so myself, just being honest. 259 over his last 7, does have 3 bombs. In his last 15, 242, although 7 homers in his last 15 games. Corey Seager absolutely having a good year if you just zoom out and look at the numbers. 28 homers, 68 RBI. At this point, not sure if he's going to break 100 or not. Not sure if he's going to get to that 100 RBI mark or not, but I think Corey Seager having a great year. Feels a little down, I just think, because of all of the Rangers around him that have just totally regressed. But I think Corey Seager is still Corey Seager. He is having a solid summer, and a good end to the year would be outstanding to get from him. I think the Rangers are kind of in a tough spot right now, and I'm going to get to comments. I see them pouring in, so hold tight for just a second. The Rangers are in a tough spot right now. You're in a situation where the chances of making the playoffs are highly improbable, but at the same time, the Rangers have just not been winning consistently for so long that as a fan, you're ready for them to start winning some ball games. Unfortunately, that may mean they drop a little bit in the draft order in 2025. My view right now is kind of like, so be it. I definitely think that there's something to be said about getting a high draft pick, especially if you're not going to make the playoffs. But I don't know. I am kind of back and forth, honestly, on high draft picks. First rounders, we know, don't always work out. I don't know if that's something that we need to overly prioritize. You're still going to get a top talent in the first round. So I don't know. I would much rather get the wins right now. That's just me. Feel free to disagree. I'd much rather get wins right now than get a top 5 draft pick, because you just don't know. I mean, let me give you an example here. And this is a little bit unfair because he hasn't gotten a lot of major league time, but Justin Foscue was a first round draft pick back in 2020. And I think he definitely could be a solid major league ball player, but he's not coming up and killing it. And so, like I said, at this point, I'm going to take the wins, and I'm going to hope that the Rangers can make things at least a little bit interesting late in the year. The reality is, if they can make it past the Guardians, I do think that they start going downhill a little bit. If they can make it past that Guardian series, I do think there is a clearer, more smooth road ahead of them. That being said, they would have to pull off something miraculous here, y'all. And so we're not going to get too much into the playoff talk or anything like that until it starts getting a lot more interesting. But you make it past the Guardians, then you got White Sox. You really have a little bit of an easier road after the Guardian series coming up this weekend in Cleveland, and we'll see how that goes. Let me get to some comments here. So, Baseball Network, will Skeens pitch this series? No, he is not going to be pitching. Was looking like he was going to be going on Wednesday, so a little disappointing, I think, for maybe some Rangers fans. I guess it depends on your perspective. If you want to get wins, I think it's great that Paul Skeens isn't pitching. If you want wins. If you just want to be entertained the rest of the way, I think you're disappointed that Paul is not going to be out there on Wednesday. But it looks like he is going to be starting game 1 of the Pirates series that they have coming up with the Mariners. So Paul Skeens will not be pitching in Arlington this series. Definitely, you need to put it on your bucket list if you do ever have a chance to go watch him pitch. I mean, he's a rookie, and it is a phenomenal watch. I've talked about it in past lives, so don't want to go on and on, but highly, highly recommend. Tristan, what's up, my guy? He says, let's go Rangers. What a great win. Look, at this point, you're going to take just about any win that you can. And I'm all for it right now. Draft pick aside, I am all for the Rangers putting together some wins down the stretch here, finishing strong. I think it sets a really great tone going into 2025. Maybe they make it interesting late. You never know. Maybe they pull out some kind of crazy miracle. I'm not counting on it, but just win some games down the stretch. Scott, what's up, bro? Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Seager, very solid tonight. Corey Seager, man, he is fun to watch when he is on like this, when the power stroke is going. Seager providing all the offense tonight, all 4 RBI in a 4-3 Rangers win. And Kirby Yates with the great finish. Kirby Yates giving up his first blown save of the year. What was that, last night? Coming back, bouncing back tonight with a 1-2-3 inning, much like we've been used to from Kirby Yates. Definitely was glad to see him go out there and mow down the Pirates in the top of the ninth after somewhat of a rough outing, giving up the home run. Look, I mean, it's one bad pitch. I don't know if you can really go too hard in on Kirby Yates. He has been outstanding for the Rangers this year, a total godsend at the back of the bullpen. So Kirby Yates, good to see him bouncing back. Not shocked that he did so. I think yesterday was very fluky. A little home run by, what was that, Carlos Santana, I believe, or somebody. Sorry, forgetting the name of the Twins guy that went yard off him. But nevertheless, good to see Kirby getting back out there and getting us the save, nailing down the win. 2 wins in a row now for the Rangers. Ureña, man, I got to say, he is one of my, I think on the pitching side, players of the game for sure. Ureña, he goes 4 strong innings, shutout innings. Doesn't quite do the Gerson Garabito no-hitter through 4, but you know what? We're going to take those 4 innings from Jose Ureña all day long, just feasting on those middle innings. Jose Ureña was tonight. Exactly what the Rangers needed. Dane Dunning goes 4 innings, gives up 3 runs. I think that's a pretty typical stat line that we do see from Dane Dunning. 4 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. That's about what Dane gives us, I feel like, just about every time out. Although last start, he was very, very good. But Dane Dunning, 4 innings. Look, he kept the Rangers in the game. Y'all know probably what I'm about to say. The top of the 4th inning after the Corey Seager home run, I was really, really going crazy with the runs that the Pirates were putting up in the top of that 4th. Going back to what I've harped on for the past, I feel like 2 weeks, maybe even a month. Rangers just got to do a better job with that shutdown inning. Seager hits the 3-run bomb in the bottom of the 3rd. It's 4-0. And then you go out there and you give up a 3 spot. Just not ideal there from Dane Dunning. He had pitched really well through the first 3 innings. Then you go out in the top of the 4th. You give up a single right away to start things out. And then you get 2 outs. You got a runner on first base. And you proceed to give up a single and then a home run to make it a 4-3 game. Got to do better there to not give up immediate runs after the Corey Seager 3-run bomb. Glad that the Rangers were able to navigate through that. I think that would have been a big storyline had the Rangers gone on to lose this game. Glad it didn't come back to bite them. Rangers just got to do a better job getting the shutdown inning. No doubt. No doubt. Let me keep going here. Let me keep going. Thoughts on Paul and Livy? Hey, power couple. Hey, you know what? It brings exposure to baseball. I'm pretty much a fan of that in general. I don't think that baseball gets enough headlines. So whatever brings the headlines and gets people talking about the game, I'm a fan of. The Kelsey, Taylor Swift, it's a little bit too much for me at times. But you know what? It gives people something to talk about. It's sports. It's entertainment. It's all a part of it. So the Livy Paul thing, I'm for it. If it's bringing more eyes to the game of baseball, let's go. Bring it on. Tristan, I'm going to watch the Rangers on September 1st in Arlington. Remind me of that, bud. That'll be fun. I'll have to keep my eye on that game. I would love to get to a Rangers game in Arlington this season. I don't think it's going to happen, but am planning on checking out a game either in Arizona or in LA at some point this season. They go to Arizona, I believe, in early September, and then they're in LA again in late September. So going to try and make it out to one of those series. That's the plan, at least right now. So might have to do a Ride on Rangers live from the ballpark or something like that. I don't know. I'll try and think of something fun for y'all. But I am going to try and make it out to one of those road games, either in Zona or in SoCal. So we'll see what happens. John, what's up, my guy? Thanks for tuning in again. Appreciate you, brother. Right after we got 3 runs from Seager, second homer, Dane gives up the 3. Man, we're on the same page most nights, John. But yeah, I kind of was thinking to myself at that point, here we go again. We get a 4-run lead. How many times have the Rangers had a 4-run lead in the past month? I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the number is, but it can't be a lot. A 4-run lead. It can't be many games that the Rangers have had that over the past month. So I am very, very glad that it did not come back to haunt the Rangers in this one. But Dane Dunning, I feel like, is one of those guys that does have trouble with the shutdown inning. Maybe I'm picking on Dane a little bit. There's been several other Rangers pitchers that haven't done a great job of it of late. I feel like everybody has kind of been collectively bad at that. They had a few nice moments over the past couple of games, but Dane got to do a better job of shutting down the Pirates there right after the Seager bomb. You got all the momentum. The last thing you want to do after Corey Seager hits his second home run of the night is go out in the next half inning and give up a home run to make it a 4-3 ball game. Couldn't agree with you more. DeGrom is almost back. I believe he's going to be going on a rehab start on Thursday. I think he's throwing a bullpen tomorrow. That is the word on DeGrom. Very, very excited. I might actually tune in and go split screen and watch a little minor league baseball along with the Rangers. Although, actually, never mind. I can go full screen on DeGrom because the Rangers are off Thursday, and that is going to be his first rehab start. So probably will tune into that Thursday game with the Rangers being off. DeGrom going to be making his first minor league rehab start this Thursday with the Rangers off. There you go. Now you got something to do Thursday night. Watch Jacob DeGrom in his debut for the Rangers, at least in the minor leagues this season in 2025. Season debut. I'm excited for it. Very, very excited. Let me go ahead, flash that comment up there. Sorry, I was a little bit behind on that. So I am going to be really looking forward to that first major league start for DeGrom. He was touching 99, 100, I think, in some of his simulated games against Rangers batters, against his teammates. So pretty wild, 36, 37, I think he is at this point, and you're still throwing gas like that. I mean, Verlander's doing it. Scherzer, to an extent, did it late into his 30s. I think it's just a trend. I think guys are able to throw later into their 30s, almost around that 40, 41 spot too. So, you know what? I am really pumped to see DeGrom go out there, maybe get 2, 3, 4 starts under his belt this season, and then go into 2025 with kind of a normal offseason, as DeGrom himself put it. So a lot of people kind of were asking, like, why rush DeGrom right now? Like, why would you rush him back? The season is kind of pretty much over. There's still like an outside shot, right? But it's more or less over. Why would you even risk DeGrom coming back? DeGrom, his response was, I want to go into the 2024-2025 offseason with that sense of normalcy. I want to have some starts under my belt, and I want to go into the offseason like I would any other normal offseason without that pressure building of I haven't pitched since 2023, and now it's 2025, and I'm finally getting out there after almost 2 years off, and you got that whole offseason to stew on. Am I going to be good? Is the arm going to hold up? I really do like the move from DeGrom getting out there in September. I think for Rangers fans, it's going to be a treat to watch him pitch. I don't know if he's going to be his usual dominant self right out the gate, but it really wouldn't surprise me. Jacob DeGrom is one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball, and a lot of people have forgotten about that. I trust that a lot of people have forgotten about DeGrom. In fact, you've seen a lot of DeGrom slander from non-Rangers fans, even from some Rangers fans. I've seen multiple Rangers fans. I don't want to say a majority, but I'll say a minority. I'll try and be nice here. I've seen a minority of Rangers fans basically say it was a terrible free agent signing. The guy's always going to be hurt. And you know what? We'll see what happens. But don't forget that Jacob DeGrom is one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball when he's healthy. And you know what? He's had a tough run with his health over the past several seasons. But I think that DeGrom, second Tommy John, is going to have a good finish to his 2024 and have a good 2025, a very good 2025 for the Rangers. That is my prediction. That's my early prediction there. Let me keep going here. John says, Aaron mentioned Garabito being sent down again. Any idea why? So here's my thought, and I don't really know, John. So, a lot of the times, guys, I don't have inside sources, but I have like just my feelings, my gut on some things. And my gut on this is he just pitched 4 innings. They probably wanted somebody fresh. He's got options. Don't know if Garabito's really going to be a part of the long-term plans anyways. So my thought was pretty instantly, they want a fresh arm. He just threw 4 innings yesterday. He's probably not going to be pitching for a minimum the next 4 days. So maybe you burn an option there, but you get a fresh arm with Anderson coming up. Clearly, he didn't do anything to deserve the send down. He just pitched 4 no-hit innings and really was one of the big reasons the Rangers won the game yesterday. So I got to think the only reason they're doing it, John, is to give Grant Anderson an opportunity to be kind of that fresh arm this week in the bullpen. And maybe Garabito rejoins back maybe in September when the rosters expand. Maybe they'll call Garabito up sooner. If Aaron joins us at some point, maybe he can give us a little bit of insight. But at this point, that's my best prediction on why Garabito gets sent down. Clearly did nothing wrong. I mean, the guy has a 2.65 ERA. Can you believe that? Garrison Garabito, 2.65 ERA. That was something, as I like to say, I just did not have on my bingo card going into this season. Didn't really even know who Garrison Garabito was going into this year. Didn't think he would be one of our best long relievers out in the bullpen. And that is what he has been. I mean, the stats don't lie. He's thrown about 17 major league innings. So maybe there's an argument there that it's fool's gold early. He will regress to the mean, however you want to put it. But the bottom line is, Garabito's been one of the best long relief guys that we've had this year, and the 2.65 ERA very clearly backs that up. Very clearly. Let me get on TikTok here for a second. I know I've been neglecting y'all for a little bit here. Let me see if I got any comments that are worth reading out. I'm just scrolling through. A lot to make it through here, but I'm going to try my best. A lot of people just happy the Rangers got a dub. That's what I like to see. Good to get the Rangers winning. It's just nice, y'all. I told you, just getting on and doing lives after a dub is so much more fun. I mean, look, rain or shine, we're here, right? I've always said that. I've been pretty consistent with it, but much more fun to get on here after a Rangers win. Let me keep on rolling through here. Did not mention the stats yet, Aaron. Let me see if I can get on and get them out for you guys. Aaron produced some stats for us that I think are worth reading out loud. Let me see if I can get to them. I just need a little bit of time. Might have to come back and circle back around, but I'm going to see what I can do here. So again, box score wise, let's kind of bring it back and try and put a bow on this game before we talk more about the rest of the series. But the Rangers tonight, not a lot of offense, if we're being honest, right? It was basically Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, and not a whole lot else beyond that. The only other Ranger that got a hit, not named Corey Seager or Marcus Semien, was Jonah Heim, who was 1 for 3 tonight. And Jonah Heim, with just a single there, did end up scoring a run on the Corey Seager blast. Everybody else was 0 for tonight. Josh Smith 0 for 4. Doley, Nate Lowe, Josh Young, Langford. A lot of strikeouts tonight. Young had 2. Langford had 2. Leote had 2. So was not the best offensive night if your name's not Semien or Seager. I mean, just not the best night for the Rangers. Only 2 runners in scoring position. Hey, only 2 left on base when you do that. When you only have 5 hits in a game and it's only 3 guys collectively out of the 9 that get hits, you don't leave a lot on base. That's the silver lining with that stat. But look, the Rangers get a win. We can be a little bit picky. The offense didn't look great as a whole tonight, but Corey Seager covers a multitude of wrongs by hitting 2 home runs. So let's keep on going. Now, a couple of things. Aaron actually brought this up in some of our messages back and forth, and I'm actually going through some older ones too that I want to get back to that I hadn't covered yet. So, Aaron, are you still feeling like, and I hope you're still with us, Aaron, are you still feeling like they need to platoon Smith? That was Aaron's question. I think it's kind of worth posing for the chat here and for the group. Is it time to perhaps look at platooning Josh Smith? Josh Smith right now, you look at his numbers. I check out the last 7 almost every other day on every Ranger. Last 7 games, Josh Smith hitting 172. Last 15 games, Josh Smith hitting 203. Last 30 games, Josh Smith hitting 202. Is it time to platoon Josh Smith? Give somebody else an opportunity. Now, my honest take on this, before I get to anybody in the chat that has an opinion, my take on this is I think in September, there's going to be a natural, a natural segue to something like that. If you want to start benching some of the vets on the team, a Leote perhaps, maybe start platooning a Josh Smith. I do think the September call-ups are going to provide a natural segue, depending on where the Rangers are at in the season, to potentially bench some guys more frequently and give some other guys some at-bats. Whether you want to give a Dustin Harris a shot, whoever else, I don't think there's a whole lot of great options offensively to bring up. I think Harris is a guy that needs to get brought up. I think you try him out in the outfield, see how he does over the month of September. As I look at the rest of AAA, I can't say I feel super great offensively bringing anybody else up. If you got somebody else in mind, drop it in the comments. But I don't know. As I've been checking out the AAA roster, at the beginning of the season, there were some guys that absolutely were killing it. There were some guys that were having a very, very good start to their 2024. But I feel like as the season has gone on, it's kind of been a little bit blasé for me, at least. I have not seen a lot of guys killing it down there. I know Dustin Harris is having a pretty decent season, but nevertheless, that's my take on bringing up offensive guys. I do think Josh Smith, though, is struggling right now and definitely would be interested in potentially platooning him the rest of the way. If you're not even in the playoffs or you're not going to be, you might as well give some other guys some ABs. I don't think Josh Smith, by benching him or platooning him, you're leaving him out cold for 2025. I'm not saying ditch Josh Smith. I am saying I think that the context of the season, which is not going to make the playoffs, and September, giving some guys a call up, expanding the rosters, I do think it provides some opportunities to do something like that without really hurting anybody's feelings or sending somebody downward in terms of their confidence. So I think if you take away some at-bats from Josh Smith down the stretch and you give them to somebody that's getting called up, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I agree with this one, Aaron. Hill and Knapp were having really good seasons. Of course, Hill no longer with the organization. Did I see that Knapp got brought back, though? Because I heard that they let go of Knapp, right? They let go of Knapp, but then did they end up bringing him back? I didn't quite see what happened there, but let me go to the box score for Round Rock right now. Let's just look at it real quick. So Knapp is back. I think he did get let go momentarily. Something happened with him. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I am almost 100%. I saw that at some point this season, they did let Knapp go. He was having a really good year. You guys who have been with me for a while, remember, I was a fan of them calling Andrew Knapp up. He was hitting 300, I think better than 300 at certain points this year. Meanwhile, we had Andrew Kisner just floundering in almost every offensive opportunity he got. Knapp, 3 hits yesterday, 295 average on the year. And then Harris hitting 280. He was 1 for 5 with 3 RBI yesterday. I believe he had a nice RBI single or something like that. Not sure in yesterday's game, but 3 RBI. Actually, he had a triple yesterday. My bad. So Harris, I think, is a guy you got to give an opportunity to. I don't know what they're going to do with Andrew Knapp. Like, if I had to guess, they're probably just going to keep him down. Is Biggers maybe a guy that you bring up? Biggers is 272 on the year. He was 3 for 3 yesterday with 3 RBI. Round Rock killed it yesterday, by the way, 16-5, beat the Isotopes. So I think there's a few guys, but I'm pretty hesitant. Krim is another guy. He was 1 for 6 yesterday. He's hitting 268 on the season. Blaine Krim playing a decent amount of first base this year on the season. He has 12 homers, 63 RBI, 57 walks on the year in roughly about 430-ish plate appearances. So we'll see. I think there are a number of guys you could point to that are worthy of getting a call up, getting some playing time. Of course, we haven't even gotten into the pitchers yet. But do we see Teodo come up perhaps? Do we see Leiter come back up in a bullpen role as CY has talked about? This is some of the fun stuff that I think we're going to be able to start getting into as September rolls around. Let me keep going here. So, I think we've talked about Josh Smith and the DH thing, and is DHing throwing Josh Smith off, basically, right? That's kind of the debate we had on the show maybe a week ago. Is the fact that they're DHing Josh Smith throwing him off? Is he a guy like Wyatt Langford? I think Wyatt's actually a perfect example. They stopped DHing Wyatt Langford as much, and they started playing him consistently in the outfield, and I feel like it kind of turned his season around. And that was you guys pointing that out. I don't think that was an original idea from me. A few of you pointed out, is he a guy that just needs to play left field and be a guy that's getting really the whole fullness of the game, not just sitting on the bench and then going up to bat every few innings? Is Josh Smith a guy like that? Does he need to be out there playing short, playing third base, playing out in the outfield, whatever it is, to really be locked in? We remember last year, Garv Sauce, he was struggling in the DH role, and eventually they started playing him at catcher a little bit, and it kind of got him jump-started. I think there is a lot of validity to the argument that some guys just need to play the field. So is Josh Smith suffering from that? I think there may be a very solid argument that yes, he is. It's not an easy thing to DH. Some of the best DHs in the game from the 90s, early 2000s, think guys like Edgar Martinez, maybe even a little bit of Frank Thomas. I know he played some first, but started DHing later in his career. I've heard both of those guys at different points talk about the difficulty of being a DH. There's a lot of pressure. You have to be on every game. You're the designated hitter. The team is counting on you to get hits. That's literally your job. So I do think that some guys handle it better than others. I think Josh Smith has been struggling with it a little bit. And let me go to this comment. I do feel bad for Josh Smith as well. The team has struggled down the stretch here in August. And look, is it a coincidence that Josh Smith is struggling the same time the Rangers have really gone into this big struggle that they've had over the past 2-3 weeks? I don't think it's coincidence. Josh Smith was killing it at the beginning of the year. We were kind of keeping our head sort of above water for maybe the first 70, 80 games of the season. And then you started seeing Josh Smith taper off a little bit, and the Rangers and their season and their playoff hopes did the same exact thing. So I don't think it's coincidental. I don't think it is. Let's get some opinions on this, though. So Scott says, this is for anybody listening on Apple or Spotify podcast style. If you're still trying to win games, let him play. Talking about Smith, right? Smith can work through it. If you're trying to get better draft picks or lose, give younger guys or players opportunities, platoon. I think this is a pretty solid mentality. Now, if you do get eliminated, right? If you are eliminated totally from playoff contention, like I said, I think you can do some interesting things with the lineup without getting too much crap from the media, from fans. Look, you're out of it. Yeah, you want to play somebody else in the DH role. You want to give a minor league guy a game here or there, give Josh Smith a rest. Sure, go for it. I think while they're still technically in it, you should be playing Josh Smith as much as you can. However, maybe start noticing some trends. Don't know if there's a tell on the lefty-righty thing. So is Josh Smith being a little bit more susceptible to lefties versus righties? Who's he hitting better off of late? That's stuff that I haven't done a deep dive into, but would love to after the live tonight. Maybe I can do that, get back to you guys. But that is how I feel about Josh Smith. Okay, Aaron, this is interesting. So we're going back to Andrew Knapp here. Catcher Andrew Knapp played with the Phillies for a while. He's been in the Rangers organization, AAA, almost the entire season. They let him, he asked for his release, and it was granted. So the Rangers granted Andrew Knapp his release, but no one signed him. So he returned recently. Now, I think Andrew Knapp, or Nap Time as they call him affectionately down at AAA throughout his career, Nap Time, I think, could be a guy maybe we call up and have be that second catcher behind Jonah Heim next year if we're not able to re-sign Carson Kelly. So let's say Carson Kelly goes somewhere else, gets a better deal. I think Andrew Knapp would be a very good backup option that you're not going to have to pay a lot of money to. Really, I've said with the catcher situation, some of y'all have asked, what would you do in terms of upgrading for the Rangers offensively? I do think they have got to look at the catcher position. Are you banking on a Jonah Heim rebound in 2025? I'm not. None of the guys that are regressing this year, I'm feeling super confident about having a great 2025. I think you have got to make sure that you have an insurance policy for Jonah Heim, a catcher that can hit. Not going to probably be on Heim's level in terms of glove, in terms of defense, but give me a guy that can at least hit a little bit and has a, I don't want to say halfway decent, has a decent glove, but can hit the baseball. I think Andrew Knapp could be a candidate. Maybe they'll give him a little spring training invite next year in 2025. Perhaps he can claim that backup role if Carson Kelly or another free agent catcher was not to be signed. That is the plan. I think the best plan for them. So that is Andrew Knapp and the catching situation. Let me keep rolling here, though. Let me keep going. So beyond the hitting tonight, the box score, we talked about Ureña. I think he's got to be one of the players of the game, just like Garabito was last night. Kirby Yates, we talked about him. Great bounce back, 22nd save after blowing his first save of the year yesterday. Comes back with a very strong outing, clean inning, 2 strikeouts, ERA's at 133 on the year. You got to love it. Absolutely got to love it. One thing I want to do real quick, let me go ahead and give you some last 7, last 15 numbers. Marcus Semien, last 7, hitting 333. Really good to see Semien coming around in his last 7 games. Corey Seager, we talked about his numbers. Actually, not very Seager-esque, but hey, tonight really makes you forget about these. But 259 over his last 7. 242 Seager is over his last 15. Then you go to Josh Smith. We already talked through Josh Smith's numbers. They're not great of late. Doley, if we go to him, his last 7, Doley 321, 328 over his last 15. So Doley going well right now. Let's talk a little Nate Lowe. Let's talk about him. Nate Lowe batting 160 over his last 7, 164 over his last 15, 225 over his last 30. Nate Lowe in another one of those dips in the season. Had a really, really nice, I think, end, or maybe I should say beginning of July. Has really taken a turn in late July and into early August. So Nate Lowe not doing great right now. And he has kind of been locked into that middle of the order. Again, are we surprised Nate Lowe is hitting a $164 over his last 15 games and the Rangers offense is struggling as much as it has? Josh Young. We talked about Josh Young and how he's done 222 in his last 7. We talked about Young last night, 250 in his last 15. So look, not terrible, but not super great. Again, another kind of middle of the order guy. A lot of middle of the order guys not hitting very well over the last 15 games, over the last 2 weeks or so. Let's talk Wyatt Langford. We're just going rapid fire here, y'all. Wyatt Langford, 196 average over his last 15 games. It's been a little better over his last 7, hitting 240 or so, but 196 for Wyatt over his last 15. Wyatt in his last 30, 189. Wyatt Langford over the last month has not been great. He's had a few sparkling moments. Obviously, the 3-run bomb to tie the game in Boston. You also got to go back to the White Sox walk-off. But beyond those 2 hits, it's been a lot of suck from Wyatt over the past month or so. Would really, really like to see him finish 24 strong, have a great offseason, maybe tweak a couple of things, keep getting better, and come in a different hitter in 2025. But Wyatt, 189 over his last 30, not been great. And then we go Heim, Jonah Heim here. Last 15, 184 from Heim. Little better in the last 7, 227. So what, are we at four or five guys hitting under 200 in their last 15 games? I mean, it makes sense with how the Rangers have been going of late. Leote actually has been one of the better Ranger hitters. Leote is hitting 308 in his last 7 and 277 in his last 15. So Leote Taveras behind Garcia, and I think even in front of Semien, Leote has been a top 3 hitter for the Rangers over the last 2 weeks. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Maybe it doesn't feel that way, but that is what the stats tell us. Leote is the top 3 Rangers hitter over the last couple of weeks. You have seen a lot of multi-hit games from him, so would really like to see the Rangers offense start getting hot over the last month and a half here. Corey Seager can't do it all by himself every night. He really can't. But the Rangers have too many guys hitting under 200 right now over their last couple of weeks. Let me keep going. Gio says, Rangers have won 2 games in a row. Go Rangers. Astros get a comeback win. Rangers are still 11 games out. I saw the Astros were down a run, but did not see that they ended up coming back all the way. Look, I'm not doing a lot of scoreboard watching these days. I just want the Rangers to win ball games. And they've still got, it's wild, but they've still got 36 games left. 36 games left. It was 126, game 126 today. 36 games left. Make something happen. Have some fun at the end of the year here. Let me keep going. I feel like Lowe has played his way out of Arlington. That is something I'm interested to see. I don't know that the Rangers have somebody in tow in the minors that they really want to bring up. I mean, unless you want to go Foscue at first base, Foscue kind of a corner infield guy, maybe. I think you could maybe work him out a little bit more at first base in the offseason if you want to go full-on Justin Foscue first base next year. I don't feel great about that. I don't know how you guys feel about Foscue being a full-time guy. We talked about Blaine Krim down at AAA having a decent season. Do you want to go Blaine Krim first base next year? I don't know who they're going to be able to get free agent-wise if they go away from Nate Lowe. And remember, Nate Lowe is a Gold Glover at first base. The bat, though, I do feel like is just not consistent enough. He's a guy that has a lot of raw power, but has not been able to lock into it during games. I hear the BP shows are fantastic, but Nate Lowe has not been able to tap into that power between the white lines. And that is a problem. You want your first baseman hitting at least 20 home runs. At least 20. And I don't know what Nate Lowe is at off the top of my head. Looks like he's at 10 right now. That ain't it. Y'all, that ain't it from your first baseman. 10 home runs and 36 games left in the season. I'm an old school guy, though. Maybe the new school stuff, it doesn't matter if your first baseman has some pop, but I'm a little bit old school. I want my first baseman hitting at least 20 bombs a year, if not 25, 30. I think you got to get a guy with some pop at the first base position. Yes, I'm going to miss the glove if Nate Lowe is playing his way out of Arlington. And I am going to hope and pray that there's some way the Rangers can get Pete Alonso to Globe Life Field in Ranger red, white, and blue. But I don't know if it's very likely. I've heard Cubs are going to be a big-time suitor for him. I'm sure there's going to be some other big markets that are going to be coming out for him. And you just don't know what the Rangers are going to be doing in the offseason. There's uncertainty with the TV deal. Are they going to figure out a way to do it themselves? Are they going to take the MLB deal? I just don't know. Just don't know. Let me keep going here. Baseball Network. I appreciate this. I really do. I was actually just talking with a couple of buddies. Look, it would be a dream to do the Rangers and post-game show and be that kind of guy. I don't know if that call is ever going to come. And if it doesn't, I'm happy to do it this way. Just work for myself, do Rangers post-game. But if the Rangers came calling, I would absolutely take the phone call, and that would be a super hard job to turn down if they wanted to give me post-game show access to the locker room. So if I'm just dreaming right now with you guys, yeah, I would definitely be interested in something like that. Go along to all the Rangers games, do post-game analysis, maybe do some pre-game talk. Oh, I would love it. That would be a dream job for me. Don't know if I could hack it with the play-by-play. Maybe I could do a little color. Don't know if I'd be cut out for that. I mean, I know I do it a little bit with you guys, but I would love the little post-game analysis, little talk show. That would be absolutely sick. I would love to do something like that. But speaking of, I really do hope the Rangers can figure out the Bally. I know they're not doing Bally, but I hope they can figure out the TV situation. You've got basically two options from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, they can take kind of an MLB deal, right? Help MLB can work with them to help them figure it out, or they can figure out their own situation. The Rangers can, to get their games out there to Rangers fans and to the public. I don't know which one's the more lucrative option. I would imagine it's probably working it out some way yourself, but then you've got to figure out how to do that. All the X's and O's and the schematics, I have no idea. Just not my area of expertise. Not going to pretend that it is. But I really hope the Rangers figure it out, because it does look like the possibility of getting free agents really is going to depend on that. And look, I don't know if you guys saw today, maybe it was a couple of days ago, it does appear that there is some Chris Young drama mounting here with him being on an expiring contract coming up here. So I don't know if the Rangers are going to be re-signing him early, that is, before the contract completely expires. It seems like, from what I've read, that a deal is not imminent to extend Chris Young or Bruce Bochy. So if I got this right, I think Boch and CY, their contracts expire at the same time. I think I've got that right. Kind of interesting. Obviously, the two of them close. CY played for Bochy back in the San Diego days when Boch was with the Padres in the late 90s. I would really be concerned about the Rangers' future and their direction if they let go of Chris Young, don't re-sign him, and then I doubt Bochy stays if Chris Young is gone. That would really surprise me. I almost feel like Bochy came back because of Chris Young being the guy there. It would really surprise me if Boch sticks around, if CY leaves. I almost feel like that's a package deal. So for me, I want to see the Rangers extend. And I really think the ownership needs to stop dragging their feet and get that deal done. Like, if they are even close to thinking about letting CY walk, you guys got to know there are a ton of orgs that would love to have CY at the helm. That is how you know that you've got something good. You can bank on it right now. There will be a ton of teams that would be lining up for Chris Young's services if he were to be let go by the Rangers. A bunch of teams will be lining up. So the Rangers got to do the right thing. They have got to get Chris Young re-signed. And I do think by nature of doing that, you'll get Bochy back. And as I've said many times on past lives, you don't have any better option than Bruce Bochy out there. There is nobody else that I want running the Rangers than Bruce Bochy. Let me go to TikTok and check comments out. I know I got a couple people still chilling with us. Appreciate you guys. Yep, we got a lot of people enjoying the performances by Seager. Appreciating what Dolly's been doing down the stretch too. Absolutely. Yep. Love it. Awesome. It's a good night to be a Rangers fan, y'all. Good night. The less than Mendoza Rangers, John. I'm just getting around to this. Yeah, a lot of Rangers hitting under 200 right now. Thank goodness for Corey Seager providing literally every ounce of offense tonight. But yeah, the Rangers are not in a great way lineup-wise all the way around. They're just not. Let me keep going here. What's up, Phillies fan? Thanks for tuning in. We always get a bunch of fans from different teams coming in at certain points. I do think the Phils are probably going to probably going to get a run for their money from the Dodgers for that number 1 seed. Now, look, I'd have to look at the standings. I just got to be honest with you. Don't have it memorized. So let's take a look real quick. Phillies at 73 and 51. Dodgers at 73 and 52. That's close. I thought the Phillies had a couple games on the Dodgers, but look, you also got to look at Milwaukee, 72 and 52, 5-game win streak. And even San Diego and Arizona are only 3 games out from the top seed in the NL. That's going to be a super close race. If I had to say right now, am I taking the Phillies or am I taking that field of teams? I'm probably taking the field. It's nothing against the Phillies. I just think there are a lot of good teams at the top of the NL right now. It's going to be tough. Phillies, can they do it? Absolutely. All right, let's check this out. Scott says Dallas Stars 7-year deal with Victory Plus next year for TV. Supposed to be free next season. I'm interested to see how that goes. I did hear about Victory Plus. I don't know if that's an app, if that's a channel. Scott, do you know if you're still with us? But is that like an app that you download? Can you get it on like, Fire Stick or any kind of, streaming device? I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't done a lot of homework on that. So let me know, bud, if you get a chance. CY definitely needs to stay. They got to figure out a way to re-sign him. 100%. All right, let's check this out. Here's some stats. 22 and 3, first 3 series of the season. 22 to 3, 46 and 15 through April, 88 and 36 through May, 126 and 50 through June, 167 and 63 through July. Percentage of the time we have a lockdown inning. So let me translate a little bit here. 71% of the time, basically, we have a lockdown inning. Now, I would be interested to see, Aaron, and I'm not trying to make you do more work. What are the other numbers out there? Like, what's the norm? Because I think this is a deep dive stat that there's probably not a lot of information out there for. So first of all, Aaron, thank you so much. And guys, Aaron runs or helps run a great community on Facebook called Texas Rangers Fans Only. Love being a part of that group. A lot of great conversation. Aaron posts a bunch more deep dive stats like this. I'd highly recommend it. I know not all of us are on Facebook. They're also on Instagram, TikTok, bunch of the different socials. Go out and follow Texas Rangers Fans Only if you get a chance. Highly, highly recommend. So Rangers 3+ run innings, 19 through April, 13 in May, 13 in June, 9 in July. Opponents 3+ run innings, 18 in April, 13, 10. Okay, so actually like somewhat even there. So maybe not. It's probably not as bad as I thought. Just reacting. I'm going to let those stats sink in a little bit. I'm going to evaluate them after the live. But my first gut is like, man, that's not as bad as I thought. I think it just feels worse in the middle of that slump that we were in. I think it just felt worse. But my initial thought is not as bad as what I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying it's good or average, but I am saying not as bad as what I thought. All right, let me keep rolling. All right, Scott says Victory Plus is an app. So, all right, check it out, download it. That's how you're watching Dallas Stars game next year, apparently. You guys know I live out in Vegas. I'm a Knights fan. Do keep my eye on the Stars, no doubt. Stars got our number this year. The Knights are actually doing some kind of different app for this year's games too. So I think that's kind of becoming the way. These pop-up, startup streaming services. I don't think that, the old school cable is going to be around for a whole lot longer. Let me keep going here. Yeah, it definitely, Aaron, I'm glad you agree because that was my initial reaction. It was feeling a lot worse than what the stats were saying. Just the way the Rangers were losing games over the past 2 or 3 weeks, it just felt so much more magnified. Again, I'm going to let it stew a little bit, reflect on it, but I think I'm going to probably find myself thinking similar even after a little bit of time. Thoughts on me having football practice in 110-degree heat? I'll tell you what, I think you guys know I do a little bit of coaching myself. I coach football, I coach baseball, not coaching baseball as much recently with starting up Right on Rangers. During baseball season, I'm all over the Rangers, and it's just been tough. But Still coach some football out here in Vegas. It's about 110 right now too. So look, I definitely feel you on the 110-degree practices. Absolutely, bud. That it's not fun. I've been in many 110-degree practices. Not ideal football weather. I love when we get into September out here and into October even starts getting a little bit cooler. That's the true football weather anyways. Those night games where there's just a little bit of chill in the air, that's what's up. And by the way, that's a good segue for me. I think I've told you guys, but I'm just going to keep on going through and kind of getting a little pitch in every time we go live for Rangers. But I am going to be going live after every Longhorns and Dallas Cowboys game this season. So Saturdays and Sundays, I'll do Rangers live still throughout the rest of the baseball season, but I will also do a separate live for Longhorns and for Cowboys. So if you're a Longhorns fan, Cowboys fan, you love football, tune into that. More information on that as we get closer. Football season is right around the corner, so you will start seeing me do totally separate lives. I'm not going to blend them all together. I want people to be able to enjoy what they enjoy. So if you love the Rangers, if you love the Cowboys, you love the Longhorns, you can tune into those separate ones. I'll try and make it obvious in the title what I'm doing, but that's the plan right now. Going live after every Cowboys and every Longhorns football game this season. So there we go. Highly would recommend this. You know, one of my biggest regrets actually, and I don't want to go on and on about myself, but one of my regrets is actually not doing this sooner. So I would highly recommend, if you got a dream to get your own sports network going, do it. And don't let anybody be a naysayer. All right. You're going to have people that think it's weird that you're getting on trying to be somebody and you've got, your day job or you got whatever life you got going on. And then all of a sudden people see you popping up. There are going to be some people that think it's odd, think it's weird, think it's stupid that you're doing it. But if you love it, you're passionate about it, go for it. And I would 100% start this at a young age. If I could go back 10 years and start doing this, technology was a little bit different back then in the early 2010s. Instagram was kind of just becoming a popular thing. Live streaming was really becoming a popular thing on socials. A little bit of a different landscape 10 years ago, but I would have loved to have gotten an earlier start. No doubt. No doubt. Let's see here. More stats from Aaron. Rangers are 13-11 in 5+ run innings, but that drops to 62-66 in 3+ run innings because they have given up more such 3 and 4 run innings than they've scored on this season. So 13-11 in 5+ run innings, 62-66 in 3+ run innings. Interesting stuff. Aaron, appreciate all these stats. There are a number of things that have clearly gone wrong for the Rangers this year. For me, it's the inability to get the shutdown innings consistently of late, although the stats do suggest that they get it at a little bit of a better clip than what I thought. I was sure it was going to be closer to 60% than 70%. But the Rangers have had a few different things plague them this year. I would say more than anything, though, it's been the inability to score late. Rangers have done a lot of score early, don't score late. I think that has really, really killed them. And then just a lack of run support in general for outstanding pitching performances. I want to echo these words from Aaron. Good luck. As someone who has his own media company, you're going to love it. Baseball Network. Love what I do here at Right on Rangers. And look, I don't take anybody's shine. I am 100% in favor of supporting people that are doing the same thing as me. So you hear me shout out Aaron and what he's doing at Texas Rangers Fans Only. Baseball Network, when you start really gearing it up, I'll be happy to support you as well. Look, you guys support me. The only reason why I can keep on doing this and I haven't given up is because you guys keep showing up, tuning in, commenting, liking, subscribing, getting the notifications, all that good stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. Let me keep going here. Unclutch hits would be another thing. Hitting in the clutch. Hitting with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. I do think that those big hit moments have eluded the Rangers. I can say that with 100% certainty. I do think the stats would show that the Rangers with runners in scoring position are probably one of the teams that is towards the bottom in terms of Major League Baseball, no doubt. All right, Baseball Network. So you're going to be doing some local sports stuff, high school sports. Hey, that's great. There's some areas in the country where high school sports are huge. Texas, of course, Texas football, huge. In fact, it's something that I kind of miss living out in Nevada, living out in Vegas. High school sports, I get into it. I love it, but definitely was a culture change from living and growing up in Texas where you've got these massive football stadiums for high schools. Out here, there's a couple, but I'll tell you what, Texas football is unmatched. I feel like just about any other state in the country. I miss it. I really do. Still love Friday Night Lights, but I miss it. No doubt. I was wondering, I was about to say 110-degree heat. I've got to say that's got to be in Texas or somewhere in Arizona or out this way. So, hey, hang in there, bud. Hang in there with them 110-degree practices. And absolutely, like I said, good luck with the channel. Good luck with the company as you get it started up. I'll be here to support you, no doubt. We got to stick together on here, Rangers fans, in more ways than one. We got to stick together. All right, let's go through tomorrow. We're getting a little bit long-winded here. Let's go tomorrow. Let's talk about the probable starters, and then we'll also go to Wednesday's game, see if any starters have been announced for that game too. So for tomorrow, another night game, I believe, on the docket, and we have Keller going for the Pirates, Mitch Keller, I believe, Bradford going for the Rangers. So I would say with Cody Bradford going, Cody Bradford, one of the best Rangers pitchers going right now. I feel pretty good about the Rangers' chances. Cody Bradford 4-0 with a 3.50 ERA. Keller 10-7 on the year with a 3.95 ERA. Let's look at Keller first, and then we'll go to Cody Bradford and his numbers against the Pirates. Not sure we're going to see a lot there for Cody Bradford. It's not like the Rangers play the Pirates a ton, although I think they did play last year. So Mitch Keller, last 7 games, 1-2 with a 5.21 ERA. Keller is coming off of an extremely rough last 2 starts out on the West Coast. Gave up 8 runs against the Padres, very hot team right now. Gave up 7 runs against the Dodgers in his second to last start in LA. So look, maybe that's just a case of running into some really good competition in the Padres and the Dodgers, but perhaps we're catching Mitch Keller at a pretty good time right now, having given up 15 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Cody Bradford, the way he's going, it's about the exact opposite right now. Bradford, in his last couple of starts, he has given up no more than 3 earned runs in his last 3. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs against Minnesota last time out, 5 innings, 1 earned run against the Yankees in the Bronx, then went 3 2/3, 3 earned runs against Boston. I'm feeling pretty confident about tomorrow. I think the Rangers are going to be able to get to Keller. I think Bradford's going to give us a quality start. I feel pretty good about the Rangers' chances. Now, honestly, you look at the matchups, the opposing lineups against each pitcher, there's not a lot of numbers. You got Robbie Grossman, who I don't think we're going to see tomorrow, but he is hitting 5 for 8 against Keller. Jankowski 1 for 3, Carson Kelly 0 for 2. Other than that, nobody has an at-bat against either of the opposing pitchers. It's literally Grossman, Jankowski, Kelly on both sides. No Pirate batter has an AB against Bradford. And again, those are the only 3 Rangers to have an AB against Keller. So could be a mixed bag tomorrow, but I like the fact that Keller is coming into this start a little rough, giving up 15 earned runs over his last 2 starts. We'll take that. So tomorrow's game will be starting at 7:05 Texas time, 5:05 out here for me. And then the Rangers will have a day game on Wednesday. And let's check out Wednesday's game here. We'll preview this matchup more tomorrow night, but it's a TBD for each side. Pirates have not announced a starter. Rangers have not announced a starter either. We'll see who they decide to throw out there. Again, I've heard some rumblings. John Gray is close to returning. Might he be a guy that could go in there on Wednesday? Again, that will be a 1:35 Texas time start on Wednesday. And then the Rangers will get a day off on Thursday and then a day off on Monday as well. So Rangers got some off days coming up here within the next week. Again, DeGrom making his start on Thursday, his first rehab start. So you don't have Rangers baseball Thursday, but you got Jacob DeGrom throwing some meaningful innings in the minor leagues, starting his rehab. I think I'll be tuning into that for sure. So beyond that, let's go around the league. I don't know if there's a whole lot of headlines tonight worth going through or not, but we're going to do it nonetheless. Today, by the way, we heard about the Astros coming back, getting a win over the Red Sox. They are now 68-56, still 11 games up on the Rangers. The Mariners doesn't look like their game's over with yet. They are knotted at 0 in the top of the 6th. They are playing out in LA against the Dodgers. And then it looks like the Angels lost 5-3 to the Royals in Kansas City. I think the A's are up 3-0 on the Rays as well. That's the top of the 7th. So some games still to be decided here. Like I said, we're not really playing the playoff game a ton here at Right On Rangers in the post game until things start getting a lot more interesting. But we'll humor you guys who are interested. 11 games back of the Astros, currently 7.5 games back of the Mariners. That would go up to 7 with the Mariners loss. And then for the wild card, 12.5 games back. So things are looking very bleak. You're 11 games back with 36 games to go in the division. 12.5 back of the wild card with 36 games left to go. Not looking good. Just win some games down the stretch here. Let's win some games down the stretch. Give something for the fans to cheer for. Really want to see some guys on this team finish out the season strong going into 2025 in the offseason. I think it would be the absolute worst if the Rangers went ahead and tanked it all the way into the offseason. That's the last thing I want to see. I want to see some guys individually finish on a really high positive note. That is the plan. All right, let me keep going here. I'm going to go back to comments, and then we are going to call it a night. Texas is 10th with runners in scoring position. Wow. I am shocked at that number. 10th with runners in scoring position. Now, how many opportunities they have in comparison to other people, that might be another story, but maybe that's just another one where it's like, it's kind of average. I don't know. We'll see. Somebody says Braves World Series here. I don't know about that. I'm not feeling a Braves World Series. They're kind of scuffling a little bit at the end of the year. I've said my World Series pick is going to be Orioles, Dodgers, and I'm going to go Orioles. I don't know. I just feel like it might be the Orioles year this year. It's just fun at this point. I haven't done any kind of deep dives, but I like the Orioles. I think they have got a lot of pop in that lineup. They've got some good pitching as well. I definitely think the Dodgers are going to give them a run, but I'm going to go Orioles right now. Yes, my cup here. Yep, this is game 1 of the World Series right here. Yes, sir. Got a couple of these. Love this cup. Always. Reminds me of everything good. By the way, I have got a new intro video. So like to begin the show, some of y'all know how I do a countdown. I made a new intro video. It's all Corey Seager's home runs from the 2023 postseason. So it'll have a countdown on it. It'll have Seager with live commentary, all his homers. Got a little hype music in the background. Look, I'm not like a big sports edit guy. I do okay with the sports edits, but definitely not in the same league as a lot of the content creators out there that just make sports highlights edits. But I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I'm not trying to build this up and then it's just kind of like meh to you guys, but I'm excited about it. So I'm going to be debuting that either tomorrow or on Wednesday, probably. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll debut that. So you have to take a look at that. It does mean you're going to have to get here early. So turn on that notification button and make sure that you get notified every time we go live so you can catch it. See what I did there? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to check any other comments out here. Baseball Network, really appreciate this. Really do. Thank you for choosing Right On Rangers for your Rangers content. There's a ton of stuff out there. Like I said, anybody that's passionate and putting in the work like Aaron and so many other guys are out there, I'm a fan of. Obviously, there's a competition aspect to it, but the bottom line is you seem to get further in life, I find, when you got people on your side and on your team. So that's been my mentality through this whole thing. So I appreciate the support and I want to give that back out as much as I can. Well, all right, guys, I'm out of here. It's getting late. Got a few things to do around the house yet before the day starts tomorrow. Great win tonight. Outstanding win tonight. Corey Seager. Corey Seager just doing Corey Seager GOAT-like things, and I hope it continues. Hope we just get like a torrid August and September from Siegs, and I hope a few other Rangers players can follow suit. I really do. Would love to see it. Cody Bradford going tomorrow. Mitch Keller going for the Pirates. Love the Rangers' chances. We'll try and go live one of the next couple of days during the game. See if we can't get another really awesome moment like the Josh Young walk-off from yesterday. That was a ton of fun. I love going live with y'all, watching the game with you. Always a blast. But hey, hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. Have a good Tuesday tomorrow. Join me tomorrow post-game or sometime later this week, or catch us on the replay. I would very much appreciate seeing you again. If I don't, though, I hope you have a great week ahead. Oh, by the way, behind me, just a flag, really. Just a flag that I put up. Big old Rangers flag. I just kind of got it nicely pinned so it looks kind of like it's a wall, but just a nice flag behind me. One day when this gets really big, y'all, I'm going to have the sickest Rangers setup behind me that you can imagine. Like, it is going to be amazing, and I am going to absolutely love putting it together. The flag, the good old trusty flag, is doing me solid right now. But one day it is going to be off the charts awesome with the background. It's going to be 100% on point. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much again. We'll see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. And as I always say to end every show, God bless